5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
I am here. Don't go away. I'm still hungover. I was pissed doing the watch along. Well, I was pissed off doing the watch along yesterday. I was also hungover very badly, and I think I still am now. And joined this evening by Steve. Good evening, Steve.
Hello. It's nice to see Brad turned up tonight, Chris, but it's okay. You know, we'll let him off.
He said the same about you on Tuesday, believe it or not. You were quite annoyed at the match on Saturday, or on the post-match. I don't know whether you sort of left when the third one went in, or
no.
did you stay and see James's amazing celebrations with his consolation goal.
So I did stay, and the reason being is because for the first time in I don't know how long, I wanted to let the players know how I felt about the performance and the manager. So I did stay, and I joined in with a chance at the end. In all honesty, and whilst the James goal was a decent finish, we all sarcastically cheered at that point. So not great.
I mean, the other day, I think, in fact, it was the Sheffield game at the end of last season, when we got the one goal back, and I just sat there and went, "Yeah, we scored." But then I did get a little bit excited with the second goal going in. But I was the same. Wait, you were pissed, Chris. Steve was pissed off. Exactly. And I just said, I mean, the way that James just looked, it summed it all up for me. But we'll have to.
With that, when James the full-time whistle, so all the players got booed, and then James came forward, and the fans chanted his song. Because he was the only one really that this season you could say has been the best player. You know, he's the only one that actually tries. Okay, he wasn't great yesterday, but he tries. So, he deserves the plaudits for this season. The rest of them, they don't deserve anything. They really don't.
I think we're going to agree on a lot of things in this show. Good evening to Prashant. Clibo, all players shit to the end. Basically sums it up. Matthew Burke is in. Hi, Matthew, and as is Wayne, who's dropping me in it there. Yeah, I was a little bit hungover when I did the match. Let me just say that. Did you have a good New Year's Eve?
Well, nothing really happened to us. My wife was at work, and then we were going out, but then we decided just to stay in. So we just sat, watched TV, and then went to bed. To be fair, I did spend the majority of New Year's Eve, New Year's Day in the from the bathroom. I had some severe issues.
From
both
ends.
From both ends. So I slept quite a lot of the beginning of the. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so the first sort of 4 or 5 hours of New Year's Day, I spent asleep in the bathroom just in case. So not the best way to start the year, but I'll be honest, I'd take that over watching that game yesterday. So
all I will say is let's go back 12 months and, Probably it was the worst year. We didn't know what was going to be coming up. We had a feeling, I guess, but it's probably the worst year most of us can remember as a Leicester fan. And they say that lightning never strikes twice, but of course, we started last year off with a loss as well.
Yes. Well, I mean, we'll probably get into potential permutations for the league and potential points deductions at some point in the show, and relegations maybe if we get hit quite hard. But the last year, the last calendar year itself of watching Leicester City is genuinely the worst year I've seen. I've been following the football since 96, 97. Well, 96 was my first game, so I remember the administration days, the terrible teams after that with Craig Levine and Gary Megson and Martin Allen, relegation to League One, and all those years after. But in a calendar year, I can't remember because I think we ended up winning 4 away games, potentially 5 maybe. We had that spell at the beginning of the year where we didn't score a single goal at home. So yeah, probably the worst year of football for Leicester City fans. So, but again, I'd rather have the diarrhea and the sickness than watch that for the last year. So
let's just have a quick look back at what you were like straight after the show. Well, no, I tell you what we'll do first. We'll watch the game first, not the whole 90 minutes.
Oh, thank God, I can't do that again, Chris. That's. I know I'm supporting. I know I'm doing like a fundraiser for mental health, but even I don't think there's enough money in the world for that.
No, it's only 2 minutes, so here we go.
McCallum's delivery again. This time on the 6-yard line is headed in. Japhet Tanganga rose highest. There's an excellent delivery in from the Blades, and Japhet Tanganga heads beyond Jakub Stolarczyk and into the top corner to give the Blades the lead here in the Championship. Sheffield United 1, Leicester City 0. Sheffield United still lead by a goal to 0. Here's Brooks, who managed to get a touch ahead of Luke Thomas, and now he's got around him and into the area. Brilliant from Brooks. Cannon, 2-0. Well, it's coming up to a year since Tom Cannon left Leicester City for Sheffield United, and now he's scored against his old side here at Bramall Lane. A second goal early in the second half for Chris Wilder's side, and the Blades lead 2-0. And now Harmer. Cross to Arblaster. Femi Siriki, Tahith Chong. Siriki now, right-hand side of the box for Sheffield United. Pass in behind is found by Siriki, and there is the third goal that will seal the 3 points for Sheffield United on New Year's Day. Scored by Callum O'Hare, sliding in. And Leicester City will be walking away from Yorkshire with nothing to show for it. Sheffield United add a third late in the day. And the Sheffield United fans singing the name of Chris Wilder, who has a long-standing love affair with this football club in his third stint now. Jordan James over halfway line, chased down by Jairo Riedewald, but he gets the 1-2, and he's fired a ball into the bottom corner brilliantly. Set up for him by Jordan Ayew. Jairo Riedewald was trying to pull the shirt from his back as he ran forward, but the Welshman continued motoring on. Linked up with Jordan Ayew and lifted his head up and drove a shot into the bottom corner.
Like I say, James's lack of celebration, although at the end of the day, it was never going to affect the match, obviously, at that time. But the look on his face just summed it up for me.
It was a bad game. It was a really bad game.
But let's have a look at your face straight after the match.
Really embarrassing. 3-0 down before we were out of shot on target. Half the players on the pitch being embarrassed by fucking teenagers putting in an effort and they couldn't be asked. Luke Thomas stealing a fucking living as a professional footballer. Awful. Get the manager gone. It's clueless. At the end, chance for against the manager itself. Sacked in the morning, and this is embarrassing, and you're not fit to wear the shirt. Can't disagree with that, let's be honest. But yeah, that was the worst performance I've seen in a long time, and that's saying something. That was bad. Honestly, I don't know what to say. I really don't. I'm so fucked off. Our club is a mess. The atmosphere around the whole club is toxic. and we've got a leader who, breathes. Oh, everyone needs to be together. We need to bring it all back together and stuff. Where are you, mate? You're in fucking Thailand. You had an interview 6 weeks ago, and you've done fuck all since. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm genuinely I might be done at this point. I've got tickets for the Wrexham game, but why do I want to go watch that? Why do I want to travel 4 hours out of my way to go and watch that shower of shit every week? No idea. But anyway, Happy New Year and all that. What a way to start.
Sorry, it was just the way you added on at the end. Yeah, Happy New Year and all that.
Yeah. Just want to say I wasn't out of breath. It was just very cold last night.
It could be freezing, wasn't it? I will say that. I left. Well, New Year's Eve, I was hosting a few friends round, and then another friend rang me up and said, like, I'm going to be in Poole at 3. Do you want to come for a beer? And I thought, well, it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? And he said, I've got you a cider. By the time I got there, it was that bloody cold. I went straight on to the Baileys. They've got a new Baileys out as well, a mint choc chip Baileys. Oh, mwah.
There's a cinnamon one out now as well, actually.
There is,
nice.
yes. Cinnamon and caramel one, and Terry's chocolate orange, of course.
That's the devil's food. Chocolate orange, they've ruined it now. There's too many things that are chocolate orange.
I know. And I was going to say that I always thought that if I ever bought a Terry's chocolate orange, that they'd have me sectioned. You said don't change, and I'm not going to.
Yeah, that's true. That's on me.
I have to say, I get where you're coming from. I came back and saw the QPR debacle. I then saw the who was it after that? Watford, wasn't it?
Yep.
But I didn't actually see that because I decided not to do the watch along. Again, why should I give up 4 or 5 hours of my time?
Yeah.
They obviously aren't bothered putting a performance in. And then who was the next game after Derby? No, it was Derby after that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they won a game, but it was like watching 7-year-olds beating 6-year-olds. Both teams were that awful. And so I thought, I'll give this one a go. And we'd learned absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I've got to say that, do you know what the team that scored the most goals from corners is this season?
Is it Sheffield United by any chance?
Would you believe it? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So now I had that information. I'm nothing to do with the club. I'm just sitting here getting a few notes prepared before we do the watch along. Would you not have thought that somebody at Leicester would have said, hang on, guys, they've 10 goals, 11 now, from corners this season. We better watch out for that.
I mean, you'd hope that somebody would be looking at that, data-wise, because we all know football nowadays is data-driven. And I know that, like we were saying earlier on, that Sheffield United are a very physical side, and we knew they'd be very physical up against, the strikers and that sort of thing. Surely you'd have seen that, and yet we were still lumping the ball up long to Silko Thomas with 2 physical defenders. So I don't think there's any data that they can look at and say, oh, we should be doing this. Maybe what they've done is they're trying to decipher it, and by the end of this year, they'll have enough of the letters ready to decipher what it actually means. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they haven't said, let's make sure corners are locked down. Because that first goal, Luke Thomas, Tanganga comes running in, and it's Luke Thomas with a jump up in the air. Like any goalkeeper sees that coming in, they go for that ball. It doesn't matter if you miss it, because you're going to concede anyway. If you miss it, you concede it anyway. So go for the ball. But yeah, I don't know.
Hi, I presume that's Tom, by the way. Carranza has returned to Feyenoord.
Yes, he's gone. He's going to be going to Mexico by all accounts.
Yeah, but he's actually apparently it's been confirmed that he is going. What are we going to do without him?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, we've got a ghost in the training ground that has finally been vanquished. So there'll be another ghost at some point with no knees.
Yeah, I think when we looked at the fact that a guy that nearly broke his leg celebrating, broke his neck celebrating, comes back from Africa, gets straight into the team over you pretty much think, well, your time's done, really, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was a strange signing, wasn't it? We were saying in the summer that he's not lit the world alight where he's been, and now he's been sent back, and it seems like just another waste of money. But I mean, that's the Leicester City way, isn't it? We love to chuck money around.
But in fairness, you don't know when you sign these players that they're going to be bad. But the argument could have been, which I put forward, well, let's see a few more, games. We've not really seen enough of him. But those bits we did see of him, he made Tete look good.
True. Well, yeah, it's not hard to make Tete look good, is he? He was terrible for us.
Apart from one game.
Well, that's true. Yeah, the false dawn, as we say, not exactly. Dawn in the chat.
Yeah. Right. A couple of things I want to just pull up with you on from that chat thing. I just want to do this before we go any further ahead, though. This was and I was going to do the post-match video, but I thought, what's the fucking point? I'm not even doing press reviews videos anymore. When he came in, they were nice and different, and now they're just like same old. And we had one guy in, or lady in, I think she was Irish, who was asking some decent questions. Never seen the hide in the hair ever since. So that's what happens when you ask decent questions. Exactly. We're working really hard on behalf of the club, on behalf of the supporters, to correct these things. And there is no hiding from the fact that we have not been good enough to build a good run of results. And he added, the club haven't put that up, there are some things I can tell you and some things I can't.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm going to say, before we go any further, I do have to give him the first one of these this evening. There may well be a few more coming, but...
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock!
Yep.
Just deserve the first one of those. But what do you think those things are that he can't tell us?
I mean, it could be a number of things. If you read sort of conspiracy theories on Fox's talk, that it could be a big fight in the dressing room, the club's up for sale. We know the outcome of the points deduction. We're just waiting for it to be announced by the EFL, and it could be a big points deduction, which puts us into the relegation zone. It could be players not being paid on time, or, it could be a number of things, to be honest. But I think, look, we all know that the background of Leicester City is in turmoil. It has been for a number of years. There's a reason why Top had that interview, whatever you want to call it,
interviews pushing it a little bit. It was more of a stage show, wasn't it?
Yeah, a stage conversation, basically. That's what it was. He comes out and says that, we want to bring in a new technical director and this, that, and the other. And actually, what have they done since? It's been nothing but silence since. But don't worry, he's going to play polo, which is very nice of him. He won a cup in polo, so that's nice for him.
And he had a lovely Christmas spread as well.
Oh, he did. Yeah. Merry Christmas, Top. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, he mustn't talk about his wife like that, but
So I don't know what he's actually talking about, but it could be a number of things. So is that him trying to save his bacon a little bit with the fans and say, look, I'm doing my hardest here, but are you doing your hardest? Because look at how we've been set up. I don't see, I know we're going to talk about tactics at some point, but I just don't see anything. It's like strangers.
Well, let me ask you this first of all then, while we're on that subject. Sheffield United absolutely overrun us last time they played us. Well, both times, but the first time, that was just ridiculous. They were playing a 4-4-2, and we put out a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
We changed it for the second half and said that was the way we wanted to play. Well, guess what? Try setting up like that from the start. So we come to play Sheffield United again, and they play 4-4-2. So what do we do?
Well, we play the same formation we do every week.
Exactly. But why again? Why has nobody got the brains to look at that and go, look, last time we played them 4-4-2, they absolutely mullered us in the first half. Maybe we should look at, I don't know, matching it or 3-5-2, whatever but let's look at something different. Oh, no. I tell you, the end of the season, they will rip this guy's mask off and it'll be Ruud van Nistelrooy underneath.
Yeah, it probably will be. And on that point, like, so I heard a lot of excuses yesterday on sort of Radio Leicester, and I was told what sort of Jerry Taggart and Matt Elliott were saying as well, that, it's the third or fourth game in a couple of weeks and the players are tired. Well, so are Sheffield United players, and they ran as ragged.
Yeah.
They all look like they were out on the piss the night before. Maybe they were in the bathroom at the same time for 5 hours, sleeping on the bathroom floor. So,
I thought I did see Skip down the Weatherspoons here. Who knows?
Sense. It does make sense. So yeah, I don't know why he doesn't change things tactically at all, no matter where we are. We're chasing a game and you still stick one player up front. It's like for like changes every single week, and and then the subs that you're bringing on. Look, Hamza. I got really annoyed at Hamza yesterday because when they scored their second goal, in the first or second, but he came out to warm up and he was clapping the Sheffield United fans. Like, mate, we've just conceded a goal. What are you doing? You're the vice captain. Like, and you're in front of all the Leicester fans as well whilst you're clapping. Like, fuck off. So yeah, the like for like changes that he's making don't make any bit of difference at all. So I don't know what he's bringing to this football club as the manager. And look, I don't dislike the guy. I think actually he'd be a decent manager if he was backed properly, but we're not going to back him in January, and we didn't back him in the summer, really. So why would you back him next summer when we're the worst we've ever been?
Yeah, I've written down somewhere, and I can't find it at the moment, but at the end as well, Steve Wilder and Hamza were having a really long conversation.
Yep. And all the Sheffield United fans, they all like him. They want him back, and I'm like, I'll drive you. Yeah. I will pick him up in my van. I chuck him in the back. He's not going in the front. And I'll take him to Sheffield myself, and I'll put a bow on his head, and you can have him. Genuinely, just take him.
I can't argue. Look, I posted this earlier, and I did post it onto the Leicester City Facebook page, but I had to do it under a story because they don't let you post separate things for some reason. We all know why. And I put, come and talk, Top, an open invitation. The social media creators at LCFC, we all know the club keeps an eye on what is posted within them online, don't we, Steve?
Yep, what we do. We do.
So an open invitation to Top to come and have a chat with, yes, a content creator, but also a fan. Not an interview with someone paid by you with pre-agreed questions in a sterile location. It was all a bit stage managed, wasn't it? What has happened since the interview? Sweet FA. I smell BS. How many games have you been to since? I don't think it's that many, is it? As fans, we love what you and your family have done since buying this club, but I feel we're now at a crossroads. If you don't address the fans properly, you're in danger of losing them with Top and KP out voices getting louder by the week. We cannot now be bought off with free beer and bacon butties. I got sarcastic at this point. I will fit in with your schedule, do an interview online in person, heck, supply me with the tickets and I'll fly to Thailand. I will be polite and courteous and not trap you, but ask the questions fans want to know. Top, do you have the guts to do this? I very much doubt it. Talk now or risk losing any support you retain at the club. Chris. I don't expect to reply, obviously, but no. I think I've kind of hit the nail on the head there, haven't I?
Yeah, I mean, look, we all expect slightly more from the club in regards to, especially after you preach togetherness and how you want to bring the club back together and make everyone feel all warm and fuzzy inside. It would be nice for them to come out and actually have a proper conversation with media. It maybe not the fan channels, because I think that as much as you'll be sort of on the fence there, Chris, and I think you could hit him hard. I think he's probably going to do something with Radio Leicester. I also have to remember that
Radio Leicester, that's staged, isn't it?
Exactly. But
have you heard Owen's questions at the press conference?
Yeah, I have. But the reason, look, English isn't his first language. He can't speak it very well by all accounts. So I think speaking to you and your Dorset tones and trying to understand the Leicester accent, it's just not going to work for him, is it?
Well, he can bring a translator along if he wants. You know what I mean?
Like, Chris says you're shit, and they translate that, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Well, yeah, there is that. But look, he's not going to, I know, but I just thought for a bit of fun, I'd put that out there, just see if I got a ticking off or anything. But yeah, some of the points that you brought up during your little rant on the way home, worst performance in a long time. Now, I'm not arguing with you because it is all about perspectives, but is that any worse than what we saw under Ruud van Nistelrooy? I think we saw worse under him.
So I feel like that's taken my comment is taken out of context slightly in the sense of for a very long time I meant really this season because last season was god awful. But what I mean under this new manager itself.
That's fine. Yeah.
But what I would say is that yes, the QPR game was terrible, but luckily I wasn't there for that. So I'm basing it on what I've seen in person this season. And yes, I went down to Southampton and we were terrible in the first sort of the whole game basically. But yesterday's game, I didn't. With Southampton, I still feel like we had a couple of chances and, you know, we probably could have scored. Yesterday, I didn't think at any point we were going to get a goal. And that's why I think it's the worst game that I've seen in a very long time, in this season in particular. So
in that case, though, I would appreciate what you're saying. Yeah, it is. I mean, I watch it, and I mean, I think it was Jerry Taggart. I think it might have been Wayne told me. Jerry Taggart said either on the commentary or a bit after the pitch was bobbly or something.
Yeah, so actually, I've seen this. What he actually said, and he kept saying it during the game itself, was I'm not sure why the first touch was so bad. You know, maybe there's an issue with the pitch. Maybe it's a bit bobbly. That's where it came from. So because everyone's first touch in that game was terrible for Leicester. It kept bouncing off us. So they were blaming the pitch, and I'm like, somebody that listened to it was like, Jerry, mate, come on, you can't. You're looking for the smallest things possible. These pitches are like Wimbledon nowadays. You know, they're well looked after.
Just go off and watch the big match revisited on ITV4. And
you can tell how bad the game is by the fact that these professionals that are working for the club can't actually like come up with a legitimate reason because they'll get fired for saying how bad it is.
Interestingly, do you remember? What was the guy's Alan Young?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yep.
He was very honest and spoke very truthfully. And I'm not saying that's why they sacked him. He would say that's why they've sacked him, but not for me to say. You want Top to fuck off. I get that. This isn't the King Power that bought us. Would it, do you think, have been better or things not been as bad? I mean, look, his dad died and we know that was bad, but let's get over that now. We can't keep blaming that forever and ever and ever. You know, it all happens to us all. You know, we have family that dies in horrific car crashes. So kind of, I'm getting to the point now where it's not a fucking excuse anymore. Feel sorry for the guy, but my mum and dad had died. You know, let's just move on. But COVID, that really buggered him up. And in a way, I kind of get that because he needed to sort that out more so than Leicester City. Because if he didn't sort that out, Leicester City might have not be here now, if you know what I mean. So, but he's... If he's still listening to John Rudkin, I don't know, but he needs to get somebody here. What's happening to this fucking director of football?
Right. So I had a little monologue earlier on BTG about this sort of thing. So whilst I understand, because when his dad died, he was 33, right? And at that age, is he really going to be big enough and enough to take on the empire? Probably not, you know. And he likes polo, and he likes the parties and stuff. He's probably had that flamboyant lifestyle still. So I would say that going back to the place where your dad died every other week is hard. I get it. Like, don't get me wrong. That is something that I wouldn't want to do every week and every other week. And I appreciate that. And you could say that the FA Cup win, whilst it was under top actually it was the remnants of Vichai still.
Agree, 100%.
And because the players were still there. We had Morgan and Casper and all these people that were still at the club that are pushing on the memory. As soon as they went, we went to shit. We got relegated the year Casper left. And we held on to Brendan Rodgers for too long because we didn't want to sack him because we didn't have the money. We gave him too much of a contract to get rid of him. Now, as an owner or as somebody that would be running a business, yes, by all means, COVID hit us hard, and you take your eye off Leicester to deal with the other situations that you've got in the other business. That's the bread and butter, the King Power business. That is what their fortune is. And if you lose that, you're not lose the fortune, but you're going to be hit significantly. So you take your eye off the ball at Leicester City and rely on other people to run the club for you. Those people have ultimately failed. Let's be honest. There's no, as much as there has been some positive outcomes from the director of football and the former chief executive and Susan Whelan, that we have increased our revenue and we have signed some good players and sold players for money and we've won trophies and whatever. That's fine. But if you look at the last 4 years, we have failed. Year in year, we have failed. Now, once you take your eye off something and you rely on other people, those people then take the piss. Anyone in the chat, like if you're a manager or if you've worked for a company, occasionally, like myself, I work by myself. I don't own the company, but I work by myself. There are times where I'll finish work at 12 o'clock because I've got nothing to do and I'll go home. It's fine. But I know that I'll make it up in different areas, so that's fine. If my boss is watching this, I do work very hard. Don't sack me. But if you take your eye off the ball for 3 or 4 years, and then you have the relegations, the first relegation was the perfect storm. I said it on Twitter earlier on that the mixture of players not caring, the owner not being there to run the show, the trusting too many players and the manager before you can sack him. That could all happen this season, but that happened. We get relegated. They try and fix it by bringing in Enzo Maresca. Now, okay, PSR was still an issue, and we have issues with PSR, and it's been 4 or 5 years now, and we're still paying for this price of PSR. At what point do the people that still want Top to be here, and again, you can have your opinion on this. You're more entitled to it. You can disagree with me, and that's completely okay. I do not mind. I accept that everyone else's opinions might be different, and you might think that, look, you have loyalty to the family because of the success that we've had in the last few years. I understand that, and this is not me hating on you or anything like that. But at what point do you sit there and say, well, actually, yes, we won the Premier League. Yes, we won the FA Cup. But we're now in the Championship and we're at the lowest we've ever been since they took over the club. We're under so many issues with PSR that we can't spend any money in the summer. And we're having to appoint a manager that pays his way to be here. We can't potentially sack that manager if he's good or bad because you don't have the money in the club because we have to sell players. We've got players that are on 60, 70, 80 grand a week in the Championship. Who takes responsibility for that? Is that John Rutkin? But if it is John Rutkin, then why can't Top take some of the responsibility for that as well? Because he is the owner of the club, effectively. He signs off on all these things. So at what stage do you then step away and say, well, actually, the family's done good, but that was under the boss, effectively, the dad. And then you look at Top and go, well, actually, he's not doing great. And how bad does it need to be for us to say, shit, this is not good. We could be in League One next year if things go badly with the points deduction and stuff. So I know there's a lot of anger in the fan base, and I'm one that will say, get rid of Top. I would love it to work with Top. I really would. That'd be the best thing in the world if you turned it around. But can anybody really see it? Chris, can you see Top turning this around now?
No, I can't. Michael says an amazing. He hits the nail on the head here. The buck stops with the owner.
Exactly.
The books for the way that the team performs, that stops with the manager.
Yep.
The recruitment of signing bad players, then the book stops with the recruitment department. Something must stop with John. Don't know what it is, but yeah, at the end of the day, PSR issues. Somebody called us cheats the other day, and I got to say, I kind of starting to feel that way because we even cheated when we got promoted. We paid off a fine to get out of PSR that time. I have a feel. The way I would best describe this is that Elvis and Michael Jackson, Top is like those two. I mean, I don't think he immediately goes and grabs his groin and he's dancing or swings his hips. He might do. I've not seen him dance. But both those guys are no longer with us because they never had anybody that would say no to them. I want another burger. All right, then I'll go and get it for you. I want another injection of whatever. No, you can't. You're sacked. Excuse me, come here. I want another injection. Yeah, I'll go and get it for you. And it feels like that. Nobody is standing up to him and saying to him, this is shit. Woodkin doesn't want to because he doesn't want to risk everything.
Yeah, so by all accounts, Susan Whelan did stand up for certain bits and pieces, and that's why she's no longer there at the club.
Where is she now? I rest my case.
Exactly. And look, we're all doing this. We're all talking about Leicester. We all go to games. We watch Leicester because we love the football club. We love the football club. It's something that is ingrained in my life, and it has been for a very long time. Look, I broke up from my ex-partner because after we won the FA Cup, I was crying. She said, "Why are you crying? It's only football." Right? That's when I knew the relationship was over. Right? 2 weeks later, we broke it up. Everyone's happy. I'm now married to my wonderful wife who lets me do football, whatever. So, football is something that we love. This club is something that will always have a place in our heart till the day we die. And if on our deathbed, our life flashes before our eyes, the majority of that will be memories around Leicester City. In the positive, Leicester winning the league, winning the FA Cup, winning the League Cup, all these sort of things. And there has to be some sort of accountability. I refer it to, at this point, you're in a relationship with somebody and you both know it's over. It's never going to come back, but you're staying together because you both own that. We're in a mortgage on a house, basically, and we can't afford to get out of it. So that's the only reason we're still here. And look, I am quite reactionary online. That's well known. And I'll say that, a lot of my stuff online is actually over the top. I'm not like that in real life. I'm actually quite a sort of laid back person. I don't let things affect me too much, And after the game, I am quite reactionary. But you'll get a balanced view from me the majority of the time. Yeah. And I like to think that what I said 5 minutes ago will resonate with a lot of people because we still love this football club. And it's such a sad state of affairs that we're currently potentially battling a relegation battle in the Championship because we've got players that don't want to be here. Yeah. And we've got a manager that's out of his depth and an owner that would prefer to play polo, 4 or 5 times a year, which again is fine. You can have that. Don't start preaching about wanting to bring the fans back together and then you fuck off for 6 out of the 7 weeks. It's been 2 months and where is he? It makes me sad.
Agree. Yeah, totally agree. Look, I've just put that up there, Mr. Can't Be Asked. I don't know if you saw it, but I did a show on Sunday and I went on. It was supposed to be a quick 10-minute show and it ended up an hour and 10 minutes. Reese came on. I haven't spoken to Reese for ages. He came on and was agreeing with me. And I said, that is what the club has made me. I remember watching an episode of They Think It's All Over. What's the sports thing on Sky?
Have I got news for you? No.
It's hosted by Roman Raganese.
Oh, League of Their Own.
League of Their Own, yeah. And Tony Bello was on there. And he was asking like Jamie Redknapp, who do you support? And he says, Liverpool. So he don't even fucking come from Liverpool. He said, well, I like Bournemouth as well. He went, oh no, you can't have 2 teams. And then somebody said, like, why did you choose? So why did you decide to support Everton? And he said, I was chosen. And it's to Leicester. You don't choose to support Leicester. If you're thinking, oh, should I support Leicester or not? Then you obviously A, you're not a fan, and B, you'll probably end up going off and supporting Arsenal or Man United or somebody.
Well, that's another thing, Chris, is the amount of times people have said to me online, well, you're not a fan, you're just a supporter. Mate, I go home and away. Like I travel down to Norwich, to Swansea, to Southampton on a Tuesday night. I am a fan of this football club. I get pissed off when we lose. I'm elated when we win. This ruins my weekend sometimes, and it shouldn't do, but it does. And because I don't have the same opinion as certain people, they say that I'm not a real fan. No, mate, I think you'll find I am. I'm really invested in this football club.
Do you know when I used to have a website? I've stopped now and got the Facebook group and X and all that. You can put words in that that mean that if somebody types that word in, it doesn't go up. If it's like, rude words, let's say, see you next Tuesday or something, then it'll be cut out before it goes live. And one of the phrases that I put in to that to work was plastic fan, because I absolutely hate that term. And somebody had a go at me once and said, well, you never go to the matches, you're not a real fan. And I said, but when I had a season ticket, how long does it take you to get home after the match? Well, I get on the 67 and I'm home in half an hour. I said, yeah, I've got a 4-hour car drive after the match. I was doing it then back in the Great Escape year. I said, I put in more hours doing all this shit than you do, because you just go along on match day and it's probably 5 hours of your week, and probably one of those hours is just drinking beer and getting pissed. I said, so don't call me sort of, like you say, not a fan. We all on. This is why we care. This is why we care. But it is very true. And I put this up, like I say, it was Sunday, and I thought I'll just go on for 10 minutes. And I went that this club has made me fall out of love with it. I will always support it, but I've literally fallen out of love with it. Last, I don't know how many years, I've always done a watch along on Boxing Day. Because after I've had my in-laws for one day, that's enough, and there's an excuse not to have to go and visit the in-laws. And this year, it was looked like it was going to be an awful Christmas because of illness in the family and what have you. And I just decided, fuck it. Do I want to spend some time with my granddaughter on Boxing Day again, or do I want to go and watch 11 fairies prance about a football pitch, or 15 if you put the subs on, and get stuffed? And no, I didn't, and I didn't do it. And that's what this is what this club has done to me, But look, we'll still be here in a year's time, probably saying exactly the same things as well. But there was a match, believe it or not, if you can call it that. It was a bit like Anthony Joshua, and we wish him all the best, versus Jake Paul. But there was actually a match. I'm going to say fair play to Jake Paul. I didn't watch it live, but he lasted longer than I thought he would do.
I think Anthony Joshua went easy on him, to be honest. I think there must have been a clause in the contract that says you can't knock him out before sort of round 6, otherwise you won't get all the money. So he went, okay, that's fine, and then bang, get him gone, sort of.
You are a very, very conspiracy theorist person. I love it. No. It's well known in boxing that these sort of things happen. So. It's not quite wrestling, but almost. But right, here we go. So this was the starting lineup, and when I looked at this, I thought, with who he's got available, this is the team, apart from Ricardo, because Hamza started, that beat Derby. Yeah. And it was like, the team that he put out against QPR was the team that had beaten Ipswich. And how can a team go, and all right, we beat Derby, but again, that was like watching two lots of 7-year-olds play, because they couldn't pass the ball to each other. They can't do the simple things. How can a team that's just beaten Derby get stuffed by a team that basically is no higher in the league than Derby? There's the same sort of level this season. What else can Marty do? Yes, we'll come on to the tactics and the formations and what have you. But I mean, you would expect these players to at least show some fight, wouldn't you?
You'd expect so, yeah. I'm worried in the sense of that we always seem to be getting attacked down the right. Well, our left-hand side, their right-hand side. That's the weakness in our team, and it. Look, all they had to do yesterday was lump the ball up long, and they'd win the first ball and the second ball, because we've got no physicality in that team. Okay, you can say that Skip and Jordan James are engines in the midfield, but they're not physical, are they? Let's be honest. No. Abdul and Steffi put in a bag tackle and they're on the floor. Ricardo's got glass knees. Even a Coley, who's a big unit, just doesn't look like he's a physical player either. And then you lump the ball up long to Silko Thomas, who's got two physical defenders around him, and he's just too weak. So we were completely dominated by just physical players. Chris Wilder is the perfect example of a manager that likes his team to be on the front foot, throwing yourself about. And I guess it didn't help having a referee that just didn't want to book anybody unless it was Abdul diving, so you couldn't really take that out of the game. But it just genuinely felt that we just lacked in that area and we just got punished for it,
You say, and I take on board what you're saying with the left-hand side. I've got to say, I know Hamza frustrated you, but at least he does put his foot in, and he was in his preferred role for me in the defensive midfielder role. But we're also weak at going down their left, our right. The number of times that I've written it down here. I think it was there might have been just before or completely near the first goal. Might have even been the first goal. One of their players was running down the right. Now, who should be there to cut him off?
Maybe the fullback that's on that side.
Oh, you don't mean Ricardo, do you?
I do, yeah. Who's also terrible.
Really? Don't go. Come on, you're expecting too much there. When the ball was crossed in, or as he was coming down, he ran past Okoli and ended up more in the centre of the box than Okoli was, leaving the Sheffield United player with all the will in the world, all the time in the world. And that Sheffield United player could have got a hamper out and had a fucking picnic on the ground because Ricardo nowhere to be seen. And that happened 4 or 5 times. For me, and there's a lot of other players, and we'll do this on a separate show, but for me, Ricardo is no captain.
No, he's not. I agree.
He's no right, but he's had his bad days. Look, we're not going to get any money for him. I know we're not. But come on, we've started to give the youth players a little chance now. Let's get that back 4 sorted out. Where's the Luco? I mean, I tell you what was asked, and I'm going to ask you this now. Would you take Koulibaly back in January? Because apparently the Italian team don't want him anymore.
I would. I genuinely would take him back because I think he would do a better job because he's more athletic than Ricardo. Yeah. I don't know how bad Luke Thomas has to be for a Luco to not be given an opportunity at that fullback position. Like, genuinely, how bad does he need to be? Because surely even a blind person, with Braille could understand that Luke Thomas is stealing a living as a professional footballer. And I say that in a mean way because he's, whatever. But my God, he's so bad. There was a moment yesterday where he got the ball from Okoli, he passed it back to Okoli. Okoli passed it 2 yards in front of him and it went out of play. I was like, what are you doing? Like, this is the basics.
This is what I'm saying. And I don't want Marty to come on and go, do you know what? They do it on the training pitch. And I've said to you before, I don't give a fuck what they do on the training pitch. I want to see it on, match day on the grass. Well, it's obviously grass as well, but you know what I mean. And look, for the second goal, he was totally out-muscled.
Yep.
But right, let me ask you this, because again, as you know, I wasn't a big fan of Aluko regarding his sending off. But we agree to disagree on that one. But how long before he's given the chance to come back in and redeem himself? Ben Nelson had an awful game in the League Cup, or everybody did, against Huddersfield, and he disappeared for ages. It's like he's punishing them. Aluko, get back on the bike. I know he can't, it's up to Marty, but he wasn't even in the squad, was he, at the weekend? What is that saying to the guy?
Well, my issue with Aluko is that you chuck him in against Southampton and he gets sent off, and then you think, okay, well, he's not going to get any more minutes. Like, you're bringing Page and Monger on now for Bobby Reed and Mavididi or Fatu. That's fine. But surely, give him 10 or 15 minutes at the end of the game. It can't be any worse than what we were 3-0 down. This is the prime example of putting on younger players to give them the opportunity to grow in the game. Yeah. It's crazy. It really is.
I've turned around now and said, I feel sorry for Aluko. Because if I was him, I'd be sat there thinking, shit, he doesn't like me anymore. Oh my God, and what you put them back on. I mean, sometimes there's an argument for taking a player out of the firing line. You could argue that for Daka, you could have argued that for Danny Ward, etc. But yeah, it was one mistake. Yes, I still say it was bloody stupid and he should have known better. But don't punish him by not not letting us see him again. We have no Christensen, and there's no. I don't think he'd be any better. But let's give, like you say, if you're giving these other youngsters a chance, let's give that. I mean, I've been saying in the summer that hiya Geordie, that I want a new right back. We want a new left back as well.
Oh, we definitely knew left back. I think, left back, right back, another winger and a striker, more than anything, which we're not going to get. But like with Aluko, and you saw the reaction the young lads had when they came on yesterday. The crowd actually got behind the young lads. They were singing Monga's name, and we looked a lot better. He had 3 touches in the box within 4 minutes, compared to the 68 minutes prior to that, before he came on, where we had 0 touches in the box. That's how, he was front-footed. He was going at them. That's what you need. Show the players like Abdul and Mavididi just how embarrassing it is to have a young 16-year-old. He's 16 coming on and doing better than you. Bobby Reid yesterday was awful. And Page came on who's 17. 17 years old. Where is your professional pride where you think, fucking hell, these young lads are better, they're showing more effort than we are?
Where is the managerial pride in saying, I'm going to drop Bobby, I'm going to get, Ramsey, I'm hoping Ramsey will go back now, because I think we're going to not see much of him in the next 5 months.
Yeah, I think we need to send him back. I think he's missing too many games for the money we're paying him.
Yeah. And I think with Bobby and with Aluko, I think we've got 2 fairly decent number 10s there. Bobby had a bad game yesterday, but then who fucking didn't? Do you know what I mean? What I'm saying, when you look at that starting lineup, and the C, by the way, the C next to Ricardo Pereira actually means captain, not cunt. Just in case anybody was wondering that, I thought
you were going to say crap, but I was thinking cunt as well, to be fair. So.
True, but I just thought I'd clear that up. So forget that C, pretend that C's not there. Where is the leader in that team?
That's the thing. You maybe Ben Nelson, but I think he's too young to be that leader at the moment. You could possibly say that Bobby Reid at his age could be a leader, but is he really? I don't think so. Apparently he's a really nice guy, but I don't think he'd be a good leader. Who in that starting 11 would? Well, actually, I know that there were players that were about to walk down the tunnel yesterday, and Ricardo shouted at them all to come and clap the fans. So there is a little bit of leadership there. It's not a massive amount, but you would say that there isn't any leadership.
Shame he doesn't show some leadership during the 90 minutes that the game's being played.
Yeah. And this is why there are so many parallels to the first time we got relegated from the Premier League, because there's no leadership in this team. There's players out of contract that come the end of February, they're not going to put the effort in, because why would they? They want to sign a new contract in the summer with a new club, so they're going to get more money, a signing on fee. There are players that don't care. Look, if you look at this starting 11 now, right? Realistically, in the summer, Pereira's gone. I don't think he's out of contract anyway. Fine.
Yeah.
Akoli's gone. He'll go back to Italy. I don't think he stays around. Jordan James might not sign. I think there's a chance that he could just go somewhere else. Even with the obligation to sign, he can turn us down. Oliver Skip will probably be here because nobody's going to pay his wages. Abdul's going to be gone because as much as he frustrates the shit out of me, he's probably still too good for this league. And there are fans are starting to turn on him a little bit now with his stupid social media posts. Stefan Mavididi won't be here because, he thinks he's too good, but he's fucking awful. So you realistically, you've got maybe Ben Nelson, he could be gone. So you got Jakob, Bobby Reid, Silko Thomas, and Skip. That's not a great thing. And then if you include Harry Winks, Wout Fast, Jordan Ayew, Hamza will be gone, I think, as well. We could be having a huge rebuild job in the summer where we have to sign sort of 10, 11, 12 players. Do you trust the manager with that?
I don't think we'll have the money to do it anyway, but no. Well, you see, this is the thing as well. Let's talk Marty Cifuentes for a second then. I want to hate this guy because I think he's no better than Ruud van Nistelrooy was. And I have to say, my sympathies go out to Enzo. I got the month of his sacking right. I just was a year late. But if you look in Enzo, there's still a few weeks left of the Panto season, so you get yourself down to your local theatre. I'm sure they'll sign you up. Look, first of all, he wants to be here, which is more than some of the players do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have paid that money. He probably does see us a bit like Brendan did when he came down from Scotland. This was going to be the move that got him back into the big Premier League team. How's that working out for him? Well, he's earning the money in Saudi, isn't he? And I think, like, you're doing everything that Rude did last year. You're just doing the fucking same, and we've lost. Fed up with saying it. We've lost the best of a bad bunch. And then I think, well, hang on. There's a team that goes and beats Ipswich, which is, let's be honest with you, I think the third or something now. There's a team
the second in the league now, Ipswich.
Wow. Okay, so they're up to second. Now, this is a team we beat less than a month ago. And you think, well, why change it? Indeed, why? We've just beaten them. All right, there's a couple of super goals in there, but, we still beat them. And then the same team goes out and puts that performance in against QPR. Is them anything really? Could anybody get a tune out of this lot? I'm sorry, I think if you put Pep in charge now, and I've heard some rumours, let's get Enzo back, none of them would be able to get a tune out of some of these players. Sorry, when I say players, of course, I do mean wankers.
I do think that there are managers out there that would get a tune out of these players, and they're not the managers that a lot of Leicester fans want. Like, I wasn't interested in Wilder or Sean Dyche. I admit that. But as much as they're not tactically the best managers in the world, they would make these players run, and they would. Yeah. And if they weren't good enough, they'd be dropped. So, yeah, I don't think Marty's the strong enough character to get out.
Do you remember I did a graphic with Chris Wilder wearing a Bullseye t-shirt? Here's what you could have won.
Yeah.
The guy wanted to come in. Now, the guy has gone into Sheffield United, and he's got players there that were not his players. A lot of his players that when he left, the new manager came, and forget who it was now that was sacked. But Sellers, that's it. He got rid of a lot of Wilder's players and brought different players in, which were obviously, not working. So Wilder's had to come in, not been able to buy anybody because it wasn't a transfer window, having to make do with the players that he'd inherited, and suddenly got them winning again.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, if you have a manager that doesn't take any shit, this is why, like, Ruud van Nistelrooy, as much as he was a terrible manager last year, I think he was on the right thing, because he was dropping the players that clearly didn't give a shit. Harry Winks and Vestergaard and these sort of players that, I think if you'd have given the summer, we would have cleared out a lot more players and maybe signed better ones. I don't think he's a good manager, but, we would have been potentially in a better situation. But I think if you sack him, the only person that takes over is Andy King until the new technical director comes in. And then that's when, yes, because if that is the case, then he'll want to bring his own manager in that will, mold the club. But, and I say this with a heavy dose of skepticism, we could be in League One at that point. We genuinely could. If we get a 12-point deduction, we're in the relegation zone. If we get 9 points, we're above it by 1 point. Yeah. Is there genuinely, if you look at Norwich, they're on the way up. Sheffield United blows, they're on the way up. Okay, Blackburn and Portsmouth aren't great, but Portsmouth won a couple of last week, so they're picking up points. Is anybody that is watching this stream right now really confident that if we got a big points deduction, that these players would want to put the effort in to get us out of it? Because I don't think they are. And we could really be looking at a relegation battle, and we could be Luton, who went down back to back. And imagine saying 10 years ago, we won the Premier League. This is the 10th year anniversary of winning the Premier League, that we could potentially be in League One. That is outrageous. You know, that is...
It happened to Blackburn, didn't it?
Yeah, so I don't like scaremongering, in all honesty. I still don't think we will go down, but there is a high possibility that could be the case. And then at that point, you know, it doesn't matter who the technical director is because the damage is already done. We won't have Mongrel be gone, Nelson gone, Page gone, all these young lads that we've got, you know, coming through. They won't want to potentially be here for it. So we'll be looking at Sammy Braybrook and Oliver Skip. No, I think Skip might leave, but Sammy Braybrook and Michael Golding in midfield next year. But don't worry, everybody, because we still have Luke Thomas and Vestergaard who are under contract for another year and 4 years. So, you know, everyone will be happy about that. Oh, Luke Thomas in League One might kill me off, Chris. It might kill me off.
Don't stay with us. Stay with us. If you are affected by any of the issues on today's show, please call the Samaritans.
No, please visit LAMP. They're fantastic. They're great to support.
Yes. Yeah, I feel as I look, I'm 64, so I've seen. I go back to Jimmy Bloomfield. I mean, I was a little knee-eye nipper then, but I was following them, and I don't remember enough about the Frank McClintock year. Only the fact that all the fans wanted Bloomfield out, they got the wish, and we got Frank McClintock. Since then, this is probably, even in those League One days, we weren't as bad as this. You know.
Oh no, I agree. Yeah,
and Ollie. You know, Holloway was sort of the right manager at the wrong time, I honestly believe. And we had some awful managers, but we said we weren't this bad. And I almost feel like now at 64 that that's it. We've had our moment. We've had our 15 minutes of fame, if you like. You know, and when you look at how many clubs that used to be big, and I'm saying Preston, Blackburn, Burnley, even Blackpool, because back in the day, they were the big clubs, but they're not anymore because, you know, they things have changed. And I think that could be our time. And I think, I'd hate to say it, but we're kind of bouncing along now at our level.
Yeah, and there was somebody that tweeted out earlier on, and I retweeted it because I think it's a very good tweet, and it does hit the nail on the head, that his name is Boozer Arab. He's LB on Twitter. He said, don't let the KPFC fans tell you that you've seen it worse, that younger fans should shut up, because our lowest league finish was only 17 years ago. So even if you were in your mid-20s, you still witnessed the lowest league finish for Leicester City. You don't need to have to be sort of 60, 65 to have a valid opinion on the current Leicester situation, because it is the worst I've ever seen. I've been following, you know, since the mid-90s, so I'm not as old as some people. I get that. But I saw the administration. Yeah. But I saw the administration. And again, I saw the years after that and the Holloway and the relegation to there was more fight in that relegation season to League One. You know, I was at Barnsley when Ian Hume scored and Lee Hendry came out celebrating, even though he'd ruptured his ACL or did something to his knee. He came out sprinting from the tunnel to celebrate with the fans in Barnsley. You know, I was there that season. I was at Stoke. I saw the relegation to League One. You can say that we've had terrible seasons in the past, but nothing compares to the last 18 months that we've just had with Steve Cooper, Ruud van Nistelrooy, and then this as well. This is genuinely the worst period to watch Leicester City. Last year was record-breaking for how bad it was, you know, the calendar year itself. You know, to go 7 or so games, 10, whatever it is, games at home without scoring a goal, you know, that is awful. This season is terrible. And there are some people out there that say, well, we've had it worse. Have we? Have we really? You know, because, yeah, like you said, Chris, you know, McClintock era and stuff like that. Yeah, okay, it might have been bad, but it wasn't this. This is a completely different era of football as well. Like, you know,
in fairness, the McClintock era probably was, but there was only one season.
But look at where we were. Look at where we were 5 years ago, where we were fighting for European places, to now be here, where we could potentially get relegated. 5 years. That is the biggest decline I think there will ever be in football. You know, because nobody has fallen that fast. It's like we walked to the edge of the cliff and went, "Fuck it, let's jump."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Just to get to Michael there, the women's team will go down as well. They actually won't this year because the team that finishes bottom isn't even guaranteed to go down because they go into a playoff because they're expanding the Premier League next season. And Liverpool are bottom of there, and
they are bad. To be fair,
they are bad.
They are very bad. Yeah. But no, Michael, I agree. Like older fans do have more knowledge. That's fine, But I wouldn't disregard, a 25-year-old's opinion or a 20-year-old's opinion on this, because at the end of the day, we're all seeing Leicester City how we are right now. For the last 5 years. Forget the Premier League win. We're nowhere near that level anymore. The FA Cup win.
And we accuse Man United fans of living in the past. We've got to be careful we don't.
Yeah, I think we are. We already are.
Yeah.
They're all saying, well, we won the FA Cup and the Premier League under this ownership. Okay, that was years ago now. At what point do you say, maybe we should get somebody else in to give it a go? Okay, we might get a worse owner coming in that strips the club. That won't be ideal. But I think there are genuinely people out there that think, fuck it, stick the club administration. Not me. I think that's ridiculous. But there are people out there who will think, get rid of his ownership, stick him in administration to get him gone. Anyway.
Okay, these were sometimes at the start of the season, not sometimes, at the first sort of third of the season, he was actually making decent substitutions. And he was actually, like he said before, that was how we wanted to play in the second half because he changed it to a 3-5-2. All we seem to get off him now is like for like. Like, you're 3-0 down. Oh, I'm going to take off a striker and bring on a striker.
Yep.
I'm not going to go 2 up front, I'm going to take off a defensive midfielder and put on a defensive midfielder. I'm going to take off a winger and stick, another winger on. There's no... I'm looking at those changes and I'm thinking, what's the fucking point? I mean, Monga, why not put him on instead of Dakova Reed? And let him just run at the defence and cause havoc. But, no, we can't do that because, he's not supposed to play in that position. Well, I mean, did it make any difference? Because when you make a substitution, it's supposed to make a difference, isn't it?
Yeah. And the first two, Hamza and Ayew, did nothing. Up until before Page and Monga came on, they did absolutely nothing. We looked not confident. There was no attacking threat other than Abdul taking pot shots from 45 yards, 50 yards, again, because, he scored once from the halfway line. So it means he needs to try every single fucking game. It's just like for like. And okay, Hamza came on and did okay. But if the barrel is, so far down that you're digging beneath it, the bar isn't exactly high, is it? Let's be honest. And Ayew held the ball up, I guess. But he still holds on to falls over way too often. For a professional footballer who's meant to be strong, he falls over more times than I do running. And I fall over a fair few times.
Yeah. I'm just looking here as well. EFL clubs have started buying now already. I mean, the window's been open technically 2 days, hasn't it? But some clubs, maybe they've planned for it.
Well, fuck off, Chris. No, you can do that?
Apparently. Look, I'm just going to sign here. Oxford United signed Donnelly on loan from Spurs with a buy option. Derby signed Mönchengladbach midfielder Fraulo. Bristol City signed Morsey and teenage winger Young. Defender Egan triggers Hull City extension. Oxford and Coventry eye Premier League loans. Millwall captain Cooper extends contract. I'm just. But please, somebody up there, please ring the club and say, "But yeah, transfer window's open."
Wait, you're telling me that these clubs don't wait until the last 4 hours of the transfer window to sign players?
Well, apparently not. No,
Fucking hell.
No, I mean, I thought when they said, well, I thought, when they said, oh, there's going to be the January transfer window, there was actually January the 31st transfer window.
Yeah. Maybe they're on holiday again, because they went on holiday for 3 months during the summer. Ruud van Nistelrooy was almost here during pre-season at that point, so couldn't sack him. Couldn't put him on gardening leave though, could you?
no. But tactics. I don't know what to say about this. Is there anything to say about the tactics? I mean, there's sort of the summary of the match. Stoke won the ball often from the opposition. I can't even bother to play no shit Sherlock, to be honest with you. We're effective at creating goal-scoring opportunities. We're effective at creating goal-scoring opportunities from the flanks. And through individual skill. We're effective at creating goal-scoring opportunities from set pieces. We're strong at finishing. Oh, I just love one of those. Leicester.
Sorry. I know you were about to read out the Leicester one, but that second Leicester one, is that Jordan Blackwell by any chance reading this?
No. This is, I'll tell you who this is. It's a football site. It's, I can't remember who it was.
But it looks like you expect that to be written by Jordan Halford after his. Jordan Halford. He's on the Big One Leicester boys, not Jordan Halford. Jordan Blackwell.
WhoScored.com. Sorry.
Right.
WhoScored.com. Leicester were effective at creating goal-scoring opportunities from counter-attacks. Maybe it's because we had one more opportunity like that than of anything else. Stole the ball often from the opposition. I think we gave it them more than we stole it, didn't we?
Yep, we did. Yep.
And look at the weaknesses. Lost possession often. There you go. Gave away a lot of free kicks around the box. Were caught offside often. Committed a high number of individual errors. I'm just going to read the same thing out every week.
Yeah, my favourite chant from yesterday was when we got caught offside for the fourth time, and we were chanting offside again, ole ole. That's how bad it was.
Well, can't hold that thought.
I'm holding it.
You're holding it. Good. Under the desk if you can do, please. You can't do that on the new Tuesday show, you know. Right, let's have a look at this, shall we? Because I know it excites you when we do this. I'm just going to get it up on my other screen here so I can see it. XG 2.42. Now, I have to say, I want to just say that, you know, like you want to see an improvement in the second half. We did, because our XG at half time was 0.02%. 0.02. We actually got it up to 0.15.
Oh, bloody hell.
I know. They had 13 shots. We had 6. Well, that was 5 up from the first half. Mm-hmm. On target, well, there's 100% improvement in the second half because we went from 0 to 1. I mean, but look at that. Sheffield United, 34 touches in our box. We had 12 in theirs. Do you remember last year? I know you're trying to forget it, but last year I used to say that Leicester were a one half of a pitch team because we never went over the halfway line. And if we did, the players would go, oh, shit, what am I doing here? I better get back into our own half.
Yep.
It reminded me of that yesterday.
Yeah, well, the most damning stat of all is that those 12 touches in the opposition box happened after the 70th minute. That shows how bad we are. Those 6 shots, 4 of them were Abdul taking shots from distance.
Yeah.
Well, like there were opportunities yesterday where he could have passed the ball out and did something better with it, but he just took a shot instead. And then he wonders why the fans are getting on his back. But yeah, look at those stats. Like 6 shots in the entire game.
Look at the goalkeeper saves. Their goalkeeper, he was probably the one that bought the picnic basket earlier that I was talking about.
Exactly. Awful.
Had absolutely sweet FA to do.
Yep.
That is damning.
Yep.
We're actually going backwards. We're not going forwards at all.
Yeah.
And his substitutions, okay, there's an argument, isn't there? Did the substitutions really make things better, or was it just the fact that 70 minutes Sheffield United are pretty much going, this is ours?
Well, at that point, the game was gone. So, they were already 3-0 up, so it didn't really make any difference anyway. did
That's
it?
what I'm saying. So suddenly
Yeah.
we start playing better. Is that because they've kind of said, well, let's just take it easy now?
Yeah, yeah. And there will be people out there that will be like, well, we gave it a go. We turned up in the second half. We didn't at all. We turned up for 10 minutes of the second half, if that. And even then the game was gone, so they took a step back. We won the second. Oh no, we lost. We still lost the second half 2-1, I guess. So it doesn't really work. But it is damning because there have been games this season where we will put in an effort in one half and be terrible in the next, or start terribly and work better in the second half.
Yeah.
But
all right, I want to ask you about this player because we said earlier Nelson had a poor game against Huddersfield, and we never saw him for months and months. And now he's probably, our best defender. He was my man of the match against Derby. You've got Aluko, who came on for one game. Who was it? Was it Sheffield United? No, who did he play? Aluko when he was sent off.
Southampton.
Yeah. We haven't seen him since. Well, obviously we couldn't see him for a couple of games because of his ban, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So what happens with this player? Now, I don't think of this guy as a striker. Obviously, it's Silko Thomas. I don't think of him as a striker. Transfer market don't see him as a striker. They see him as a winger. Why are we putting a square peg in a round hole when we've got a round peg in Jake Evans who can come in and score the goals? He didn't have the best of games. I'm not going to have a go at him here. He did not have the best of games, but please, Marty, do not drop this guy in the shit bag like you did with Nelson and Aluko.
So, Silko Thomas has scored one goal in 42 professional games in the last 2 years. And 20 odd of those, slightly more than that, but the majority of those games were in League One for Wigan, where he played up front. He didn't score a single goal for them in League One. He's expected to be dropped into our starting 11 and put in a performance because he scored the penalty that was saved or hit the post with Bobby. He just reactionary hit it into the back of the net.
Yeah.
And we're expecting him to do a job up front. There has been a lot of reports about Silko. He got released by Chelsea. We picked him up, and by all accounts, he's actually one of the least, by all, not my saying, but what other people have said, the least technically gifted player we've got in the academy. And now he's playing up front for us ahead of Jordan Ayew, which fine, whatever, or Patson Daka, or even Carranza at that point. So as much as he tries and he runs around, and that's great, he's not going to be prolific, is he? Let's be honest. He's not a striker. He's a winger. And even then, a winger, this isn't his level. Give him a couple of years. He could be
a decent goal in pre-season.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not a professional game, is it? I don't know. It feels really unfortunate for Silko because I think he could be a decent squad player, but he's not a starter in the Championship. He really isn't. And that feels really bad to say.
Not up front. But all I'm saying is, when you were saying about offside again, la-di-da-di-da, whatever it was. La-di-da-di-da, it wasn't that, was it? But you know what I mean. But, most of those in the first half were from Silko.
Yep.
But, again, you're talking experience, all I want to say is, fair play to him. I mean, he didn't particularly do anything worse than anybody else, but it just wasn't his game, and it wasn't his position, let's be honest with you. Why not take, like I say, Fatawu off and stick him on the other side and put Jake Evans on the fucking bench? What has he got to do? He's been picked for England. What's he got to do to get in the fucking team? He scored more goals, and you could argue that it's at the youth level, but I don't give a shit, than Daka. He scored more goals in a month than Daka has in a fucking year.
So it shows how bad our recruitment has been that we're begging for a 15-year-old to come in and start up front in the Championship, doesn't it? That shows how bad our recruitment.
He's older than that.
Maybe 16. I don't think he's much older than that at all. But he's still a young lad. So yeah, I would love to see Jake Evans play. But again, you've got players in this team, the striker options in Daka and Ayew that are earning $60,000 a week, that are Premier League level players on ability effectively, but they're not, are they? They're terrible.
17. Sorry,
17. Yeah. So there you go. We're relying on another 17-year-old to come in and potentially score goals. Like it just shows again how bad we are and how bad we've been run, that we're relying on. And we're about to sign a 35-year-old that's got no knees, but it's okay, because welcome to the Seagrave Spa, where it's a retirement home for old age pensioners that want to play football.
Like that. I felt like that, when we were in the Championship and we were struggling and we were signing the likes of Sir Les Ferdinand, Dion Dublin and all them. It was like, all right, there were good players in the heyday, but they were coming to us for a last payday, and the talk that he might be coming in on a pay-as-you-play deal. Let's be honest with you, it can't be any worse than at least it will give us some authority.
Exactly.
It might even, let's be honest with you, dare I say, be a captain.
Yeah, that's true. He was a captain at West Ham, so he would be a leader for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, we while we're playing 4-2-3-1, I give up. We've got to change 4-2-3-1, haven't we?
We've got to try something different. I think that we're too flimsy at the back. So I would honestly would have gone free at the back at this point and played Nelson Okoli and Vestergaard when he comes back. He was on the bench yesterday, so he's pretty fit, effectively. But again, I don't know.
Okoli over Nelson?
I wouldn't. No, I'd start Nelson over Okoli week in, week out, because he's somebody that you could still build the club around. In the next few years. He's only got 18 months left on his contract, so unless he signs a deal pretty quickly, he'll be gone in the summer anyway, because we'll have to sell him to get money for him.
Yeah. No, just you said Okoli. I thought you meant Nelson, to be honest with you. We've got to do something. We really, really have 4-2. I just don't. I mean, if we get this director of football. And I think we might be thinking of, he might be in the same room along with Father Christmas and the Tooth Fairy, and the Easter Bunny. He might be in that little collection there.
Can I just answer Scott's question really quickly?
Yeah. What was the question?
Scott, so you said that what direction would I go, and what's the best way to achieve both short, full, and long term? You appoint a technical director and you give him the tools to actually do the job. You say to them, look, this is now your project. John's going to take a step aside and not deal with it anymore. Top's going to give you the reins effectively and let you do what you need to do. So you need to find a technical director that is good at scouting young players and knows some good contacts in the world football. There's a guy in Stockport, I think it is, who is a decent manager and a decent director of football that he'd be a decent shout. Young, somebody who wants to come and show that Leicester City is a big club. And give them those tools. But to do that, you have to then give this person full reign. And I don't think that's going to happen at this football club. So for me to fix it, it would be to appoint a technical director that will do the job and is the be all and end all. You give them full control and say, this is your project. Get us back into the Premier League within 3 years, right? I don't think you can keep Marty. I think you need to bring your own manager in as a technical director. And then you go and look for young players like Brighton have done, and all these, like Coventry have spent 3 or 4 years building this team from players that we didn't even hear before, like Haji Wright and these players there. So you go and spend a bit of money on young players, and then Dave Chandler, great, good lad. So you bring the young players that want to be here. You say to them, look, you can use Leicester as a stepping stone. You can. This is what we're doing. We need to sell you at some point to bring more players in. So great. Come and perform for 2 or 3 years, then maybe go on to a bigger club. And if we get promoted in that time, you then have more money to spend and you can expand your net. So like Nigel Pearson did it perfectly. He came in and drained the swamp and then brought in young players, and look at where we were 2 years later, 3 years later. Yeah. But you have to trust the technical director. But that's a problem, because we all know that if we allow them to top and whoever to appoint who they want, we've seen Steve Cooper because Rudkin wanted Steve Cooper. We've seen Ruud van Nistelrooy because Top wanted Ruud van Nistelrooy. We've got Marty because Top wanted Marty over Ruud because Ruud wanted Dyche apparently, or something like that. So even they're not playing on the same.
Ruud wanted Dyche.
No, sorry, Rudkin wanted Dyche. Yeah. So they're not singing off the same hymn sheet themselves.
I'm going to jump off my balcony now.
So realistically, you need to give a technical director the full reign and say, look, don't go and spend every single bit of money that we've got in the club. We have to play within the rules anyway. But here's a bit of money. Go and find some talented players and then build from there. It'll take 3 or 4 years for us to get back to a stable club, but you have to give them time. And that's what we don't do at this club.
They've got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
And look, we don't know, Michael. You say Dyche wouldn't go to Leicester. Probably wouldn't, but who knows? We didn't offer him it, did we? Funny enough, Wilder wasn't offered it, but was interviewed and would have come. Talking because Enzo's left Chelsea very quick before we go on to the ratings, which we'll just run through. Enzo's left because allegedly of interference from. They've got something like 5 technical directors there. Maybe they could lend us one. They've got so many.
Yeah.
They could lend us one. But if let's say you got the job as technical director, they said, Steve, look, you know football, you know a bit about what you're talking about. You're good on, FA manager. You could be the next Will Still. Do come in. Did I say that out loud? Do come in. Would you be saying to Marty at this point, get rid of 4-2-3-1, or would you let him get on with it because, is that interfering?
I would personally get rid of the manager to begin with and then appoint a manager that has adaptable style. So a manager that isn't just, tied to one style of football, because 4-2-3-1 is played all over the world. It's a very favorite formation all over the world. It can work as long as you put the tactics in behind it as well. As a formation, it is quite fluid. You can have a number 10 that can push up into the attacking midfield role, into the striker role. You can have a striker drop deep, which I know that Jordan Ayew likes to do. The wingers can be a bit more proactive. But in this formation right now, I can't see anything that gets the best out of the wingers, the best out of the striker. Okay, John James is getting in the number 6. He's playing in his best position, so that's working. But realistically, you're moving Ricardo into the holding midfield role when we've got the ball, and but he's just not got the legs to get back into that right back role after that when we lose the ball. So you bring in a manager that, okay, if he wants to play that formation, fine, but he needs to back it up with actual tactics as well. And that's Marty isn't backing it up with the actual tactics.
No. I must admit, if it was me, I'd go in there and say, you do it or you're gone.
I think we get rid of him anyway. To be honest, I don't think he's good enough. I think he's so out of his depth at this club. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Very quickly, then we're going to run through these. We won't go into descriptions or anything. Just very quickly, your rating, Stolarczyk.
5. I think he could have done better with the first goal. He could have cleared that ball into the box. Couldn't really do anything with the ball played against the back line when it was played across goal. But overall, his passing was a bit, but that's every week. So a 5.
I'm not even going to do football friend, but it's 5 from Jordan as well. And I've got to say, I never thought I'd say this. This was part of my humble pie experience this year. Is that I would have kept Bekovic in. To be honest with you,
I would too. I honestly would too.
Yeah. Ricardo.
Sorry, my cat has just knocked a box onto the floor whilst looking at me.
You want to get it up or anything?
No, it's an empty box. It's a shoe, but I had to buy some new running shoes today. So it's anyway. Ricardo, 4. He unfortunately, I think he's done at this level. Go back to Portugal, mate. Put your feet up, but he's not good enough nowadays. Maybe on as a sub, but I can't. He shouldn't be starting.
No. I would have given Stolarczyk 4 actually, and I would have given Ricardo 3, probably 2. We don't do halves, do we? So
no, you made that rule. We don't do halves.
So I'm going to have to drop it to 2 because I just don't think we just was useless. But he also gets a 4 off Jordan. So 2 out of 2 for you.
2 for 2. Yeah, 2 for 2.
Yeah. I won't. Brad won't be watching this, so it doesn't matter. I won't tell him. Cheers! Everybody's getting the votes in the chat as well. Coley.
He gets we considered 3, so he gets a 3 himself. He's the weakest strongman I've ever seen. Like he's just no presence in that defense, and he can't pass the ball. He puts us under way more pressure because he can't pass the ball. I am begging for Vestergaard, and I don't think I'd ever say that in my life. I'm begging for Vestergaard to come back to play next to Nelson.
Hang on, I'm just going to press. If I press B, it shows me where I need to clip it. So you've gone 3. I'd agree with you on that one. 3, 4 from Jordan. Nelson
Nelson gets a 4. I think that he brings the ball out pretty well. You know, he does the out fast of passing, bringing the ball out, passing the ball forward, and that's good. With the fact that he's got a literal crash test dummy next to him on in the left-hand side, there's not really much else he could do. He was all over the back line recovering for Ricardo and Akoli at times, as well as Thomas. So, yeah, I think a 4's fair. He wasn't great. We conceded 3, so you can't give him any higher than that.
Well, I mean, I think I'm in the same position here as Jordan because we would give halves, but we'd probably end up with everybody with a half because we're so indecisive. I've gone 5, in fairness. I think he was one of the better players. I can't go higher than that because, as you say, we did concede 3. Jordan went 4 as well. So
3 for 4.
Well, 3, 4, 5, haven't we? Oh God, Thomas. Go on.
he genuinely gets a 1, and the reason being is because he was targeted every single time they had the ball, and you saw in all 3 of the goals he was at fault at some point. You know, he wasn't very strong for the corner. He got the ball played behind him in the second goal, and the same thing happened again in the third goal. Like, the defending in that second goal was truly woeful. He can't pass, he can't defend. At this point, I would take him upstate and let him run around with his friends upstate. You know, he should not be playing football. He's a little horse that's gone too far. He's broke his leg. Chuck him upstate. You know, let him swim around with his friends.
He's getting a bit of a mixed response here. I mean, Nelson, what he was just saying about Nelson. Yeah, I think he could be a future captain as well if he stays around long enough. But Thomas, you gave him 1. Jordan gave him 3.
4 more years, Chris. 4 more years.
I think you were being generous. I'm actually going to give him 0. You know, look, we've got him for 4 years.
Yes.
So
thank you, Rutkin.
Maybe as a backer, we need another left back because Christian, like I say, isn't a much better option, and he's out injured all the time anyway. But I think we're going to be stuck with him because he is injured. But yeah, I can't give him anything other than a 0. Skip, I'm surprised he went off, to be honest with you. But look, it could have been anybody. They're all much of a muchness, weren't they?
Yeah, he gets a 3 for me. He wasn't great. I think the issue with Oliver Skip in this game is that if you're up against midfield that will bypass you, then you're not in play anyway. And yeah, it just every single time the ball got launched over his head, there's not really much you can do. But even in the midfield when the ball was on the floor, it wasn't great. It wasn't great.
Sorry, how many did you give him? Sorry, I missed that.
I said 3. I think I gave him a 3.
3. 4 off Jordan. I think you're probably more. It wasn't one of his better games. I think he probably now he's had a few decent games. He's got to keep that standard up. But when you're playing in a team of Muppets, you can't be. What was that Muppet Christmas Carol? You can't be. Who's the guy who played
Scrooge? He can't be Michael Caine, can he?
I can't be Michael Caine in a field of Muppets.
Which is the best Christmas film, by the way. I won't have anybody say otherwise. Every year I watch that with, I've watched it since I was a young lad. Muppets Christmas Carol every year. I fucking love the Muppets.
Oh, I like the Muppets. Not necessarily like that. For me,
well, bear in mind that my nickname is Elm from sort of Elmo, because my middle name's Elmo. Oh, Elm, sorry. And I do have a tattoo of Elmo.
You do, yes, I forgot about your tattoo. Yeah, I was. I'm Love Actually, me. Love Actually and Miracle on 34th Street. That's the family one that I always used to watch.
As long as we agree that Die Hard isn't a Christmas film, we're all good.
You know my feelings on that one. There was a thing the other on Channel 5, just a sidetrack, and it's your fault this, but just a sidetrack. It said Die Hard is not a Christmas film. It was a film set at Christmas.
Yep.
Well, hang on. Isn't The Muppets Christmas Carol a film that's set at Christmas?
See, my argument is that But Die Hard came out in July. It didn't come out at Christmas. So my thing is that, yes, it might be around Christmas because of the holiday season and whatever, but it's not a Christmas film because it came out in July.
Do you know Stop the Cavalry by Jonah Louie?
No, I'm too young for that, Chris. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, no, yeah.
Always comes up at Christmas. That was not written as a Christmas song. It has one line.
It's not a Christmas song.
No, it had one line. I wish I could be at home for Christmas. I mean, Don't get me wrong. The guy is extremely happy because it's his pension. But
yeah.
That's not it. Anyway, we digress. James.
He gets. I would say it's probably one of his worst games in a Leicester shirt. I think again because it was bypassed quite a lot of the time. He got a goal. I give him a 6. I'd say he was probably our best player, but even then it wasn't great.
No, probably was. I'd give him a 4. But his problem is he's suffering by his own reputation now and his own standards that he set. He gets a 5 off Jordan, so he gets a 4, 5, and 6 there. Look, I love this guy at the moment. Can't say I'd say it's a more humble pie, but as with everybody else in the team, wasn't his best game.
No, he was. I actually think he was on par with Thomas in that game. Everything bounced off him. He didn't run around as much as I expected him to. Just awful, genuinely awful. No attacking threat. Didn't help out in the defence. I give him a 1.
I will agree with you on that. I would have given him 2, but then again, no, I'm going to give him 2 because no, I can't. I'm going to give him 1. But the thing is, at the end of the day, in that first half, we never got out of our own half, did we?
No.
So number 10 was completely redundant because we never got the ball there. He gets a 3 off Jordan. Quickly just rounding these off now. Fatawu, woo.
His worst game in a Leicester shirt, I would say. His pot shots from 40 yards are all well and good, but you're not bringing anything else to the team. He dived in the first half, which I don't understand why you do it, mate. You know, you're a professional.
It's so obvious, and right in front of the fucking linesman as well.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I would give him a 1 for sure.
Well, like you say, he's up there with Thomas, and because he's up there with Thomas, I give him a 0. But he got 3 off Jordan. We've got Silko Thomas. I felt, like I say, for me, he was hung out to dry a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Hung out to dry, not great. I give him a 3. Look, if you lump the ball up the pitch every time to try and win a header, like when we did it with Vardy, you know, you lump the ball up there against 2 guys that are 6'2", 6'3". You're never going to win the ball. He's not strong enough. So yeah, I give him a 3. I give him a 3.
A 3. He actually gets. I'm just looking. Actually, I mean, if you're going to lump the ball up to him, 1.78 meters. How high is that? How tall is that?
He's shorter than me. I'm 180. So he'd be about 5'10".
5'10". If you're going to lump the ball up, you need somebody that can fight for the ball. Maybe somebody like that West Ham striker. Oh,
Fulcrum.
No. Antonio, do you remember him?
The one that's got no knees. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah. Maybe somebody like that. I don't know. I'm going to give him. You gave him a 3. I'm going to agree with you. He got a 5 off Jordan. Steffi, one of his worst games. I'm going to go 2.
Yeah, 2 for me. Yeah, I don't know what he's bringing to this club right now. I think he thinks he's better than he actually is, and that is dog shit.
Yeah, it gets a 3 off Jordan. Substitutes, Chowdhury.
5. He was fine when he came on. He put a tackle in. He was passing the ball around, but even then, 5 is the best I can give him.
I'm going to give
it back. He gets a 3 because he was clapping the fucking home fans the bell end.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe that's in advance of a January transfer. Who knows? Maybe that.
Yeah, chuck him in the back of the van. I'll take him up there myself.
You'll drop him off with whoever it was you were dropping off earlier.
Exactly. It was Hamza as well, to be fair. I was dropping Hamza off at the same time. So it'll be both Hamza. It'll be Hamza and Hamza's clone.
That's fine. We'll do that. 4, I'd give him. At least he shows a bit of passion. It was a lost cause when he came on anyway.
Yeah.
He gets a 5 off Jordan. Talking of Jordans, Jordan.
The worst striker I've ever seen play for Leicester City, right? In the sense of he brings absolutely nothing to this football team at any point, right? He doesn't hold up the ball well because he falls over. He can't pass. He can't sprint. Okay, he's got the occasional footwork where he takes him past a couple of players, but actually he brings nothing. And look, at least Akinbayi scored some goals. At least Patson Daka is fast, I guess. You know, we've seen some dross in our times, but he's right up there with the money he's earning. He's not a striker. Stop playing him up front.
But the option, if we don't play him up front, is to play him on the wing, and I don't want to see him on the wing.
Play him in the cam role. I think he'd do okay as a number 10.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that.
I think he can link up playing. That means he doesn't have to drop back any further because he's already dropped back.
Yes. No, you're quite right. Him, Dakova, Reed and Page as our 3 options there.
Yeah.
Well, he's going at the end of the season anyway.
Good.
I've got to say, what did you give him? 2?
2, yeah.
2. I'll agree with you on 2. Jordan gave him 4. I know I've not been reading them out, but he didn't do a lot of anything until he passed the ball to James to set up the goal. So it's pretty much...
Oh, so he gets an extra points because he got the assist. Wow. Okay, cool. Well,
yeah. Again, please ignore man of the match. I think I've just cocked up my everything. He's not the man of the match, but Louis Page...
He came on and showed some attacking threat. He was passing the ball around. I made a comment against the Derby game where he came on. He looked a little bit. He got pulled back at one point, holding his shirt, and he looked like a boy against men. But actually, the more minutes he plays, the better he is. He gets a 5 from me because at least when he came on, he actually did something.
I'm going to agree. Yeah, I'm going to agree with Jordan here and give him a 6.
Fair.
Give him a 6. And then finally, and again, I don't think he did a lot when he came on, but Mr. Monga.
I think he gets the same as Page. You know, the fact that we had 0 touches in the opposition box until he came on, and then we had 3 within a couple of minutes shows how poor we were. If you're a professional footballer and you get taken off, and a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old come onto the pitch and show more willing, more fight, and more attacking threat than you, then that is a true embarrassment for those players. So he gets a 5, he gets on par with Louis Page, but it's so bad that you have to rely on a 15-year-old to get any sort of attacking threat.
No, I agree. I agree totally. I'll give him a 5 as well. Not one of his best games, but he's setting his own high standards, unfortunately. And like I say, how can you actually be good in a team that's shit, you know? Right, okay, finally, let's have a look at our manager. I'm from Barcelona.
I wish you'd fuck off back to Barcelona.
I'll chip them over, you knock them in, mate.
Yeah, so I've said before that he looks like Pepe Le Pew, right? Pepe Le Dickhead, as I've called him, because he has that stupid silver little flick in his hair. So that's where I get that from. I think Pepe Le Pew would be a better manager than Martin Cifuentes right now. I think sacking him is pointless as well because I don't think we've got a decent replacement lined up. So you'd have to rely on Andy King. I honestly think that if we had a manager that had some sort of a form of tactics, we'd be better than we are right now. We'd get a lot more out of this squad. Maybe not a lot more, but at least a little bit better. Even a couple of percentage points better would, better than where we are. But there is nothing that I'm seeing on the pitch. And bear in mind that I've been home and away. I think I've missed 2 games total this season so far. So I've seen how shit we've been in several games. Southampton, Sheffield United at home. I missed the QPR game. Thank fuck for that. But like last night as well. How many more times do we need to go 3-0 down in a game before we even start to turn up? That's how bad it is. That for any game, we haven't kept a clean sheet in like 16, 17 games.
Well, it's not as good as that. It's 19.
19 games. Okay, so that means that we have to score at least 2 goals a game to win a football match. Are you seeing that right now? I'm not. I'm not seeing any attacking threat where we can score 2 goals. So on current form, I think we're in the bottom 3 on current form and on current stats for XG and that sort of stuff. So I am genuinely worried that if we carry on with this manager, we could get relegated. But then what is the better option? Is it Andy King? I don't think so. We're chucking him into the walls at that point. So it feels like the situation where we had Ian Holloway, we set the manager for a Holloway and Holloway came in and we were just gone. This is the Holloway moment. We were gone under Ruvan Nistelrooy and this manager's coming in and we are worse. So without JJ, take away JJ's goals and assists, we would be second bottom right now.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Get the fucker gone. I don't know.
What are you giving him, though?
Oh. I can't. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I give him a 0.
0. Generous. Can I just say, the last time that we went 19 games, and look, we used to spend a lot of time in the Championship, or what was then Division 2. The last time we went 19 games in the second tier without keeping a clean sheet.
Oh, was it like 1929 or something like that? It was a long time ago.
Don't be silly, no. 1949. You actually were cleaning the other way.
Oh, 20 years. Sorry, that's my mistake, guys. I'm really sorry. I'm going to resign in disgrace.
Yes, I think you should. And I have to say as well, I'm just looking through my notes here. Where was it? Oh my God. Last time, they hadn't beaten us. Oh, fuck off. Where have I put it? Arseholes. I can't quote that because I have no idea where I put it. I've said that a few times. But I think it was like 1949. It might have been the same year. It's the last time that Sheffield United beat us at Bramall Lane.
Okay. A long time ago.
And it was 3-0.
Yep.
And they did a double over us. Oh, 18 years, sorry. So it's 19 years.
Yeah. Well, the good news, we scored yesterday, so it wasn't 3-0, but it wasn't far off.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I'm going to give him -5.
Fair.
Because the guy is... I want to defend him, and I want to say it's not all his fault, but like with Rude, how often do you have to do the same fucking thing for it to go wrong to say, try something different? So, yeah, he gets -5 from me.
Yeah.
Right, what do you give the team?
1. We scored a goal.
I'm going off what I gave straight away after post-match. Mm-hmm. I gave them a 0.
Fair. I mean, you can't disagree with that, can you? Let's be honest.
But honestly, Alan, who does our official thing, he actually, in fairness, said it was an awful performance, and I think he gave them 2 for the youngsters.
Yeah, fair.
So fair enough. Though I do get that. Who is your man of the match?
Jordan James, because he scored a goal. Even then, it was not great.
I can't remember who I went for.
You could give it to Nelson, to be fair, because he was okay.
Why am I making...
Oh, actually, no, I take it back. The man of the match is the fans that turned up.
well saved. Saved at the last minute. Here we go. I actually gave it to no one.
Fair. So the fans will take it then. Give it to us, Chris. We'll take it.
We'll give it to the fans. He actually turned around and gave it to JJ, but I took his first answer, and his first answer was no one deserved it.
Fair.
And if you are watching this, Leicester fucking City, have a listen to what we're saying, for God's sake. No one, you've given it to the fans, didn't you? Can I ask one last question? I know we've gone on a lot longer than normal, but one last question, if you don't mind, and do apologise to your wife.
That's right, she's at work right now, so we're all good.
Oh, is it? He actually then gave it to James, but originally he went no one, and then he went for James. I asked this question of the guys on the post-match, and if there was an offer coming in for Fatawu in January,
yes,
would you? Let me finish. Let me finish. Would you accept it? But what would be the minimum you would accept?
25 million. No, 20 million. I think. I think we're not going to get 30 odd million for him nowadays. I think he's that ship has sailed. I think 20 million plus add-ons would be where we're at. But then, you know, you go from saying we want 40 in the summer to sort of 20, 25 now. That's terrible, isn't it? Yeah. But you have to make a profit, and you know we need to sell him for at least. I think we have to sell him for at least £14 million to make a profit.
I went yes as well. In fact, there was only Tom that said no, unless it was 50 million plus. Everybody else said yes, and I said yes and 30 million.
Okay,
but your 20 million plus add-ons, fair enough. Jim agreed with you 20, and Wayne went 30 as well. Yeah. Steve, thank you very, very much for this. It did go on a bit longer, but it's because you're so interesting. Answer the questions. Monday night, are you going on Monday night?
So I currently have plans at the moment. So I am not boycotting to an extent because I have plans, but those plans might fall through. They're not set in stone as of yet. So at this point, I don't know. But if I don't go, I believe I'd be on with Locks doing the watch along with them. So
yeah. Oh no, I'm not gonna.
I'm just saying where I'd be if you know.
No, I didn't know whether you were going, but we'll see you hopefully on Tuesday.
Yes, you will. Yeah, you said we're doing the review show on Tuesday, aren't we? So yes,
we're doing the review show on Tuesday. Yeah, not the Foxes Forum. That will start the next week. But again, another. Do we boycott the game? There's somebody that was posting in Facebook and what have you. Let's vote with our feet and boycott it.
I think the issue with boycotting the game is that the tickets have already been paid, so the club aren't really that bothered. They've got the money, you know. But I do think it's important to show that you're frustrated with the ownership, to know that, you know, you can come out and have an interview with people and say, oh, we're going to try and do better, but then to show nothing for the last 7 weeks, you know, there needs to be not an uprising, but there needs to be something said to be like, this isn't good enough. And I think that is the only way you're going to get it.
Do you know what I thought? That why don't we do what Sheffield Wednesday did? This is a game that's on TV.
Yep.
If that TV game started and everybody at both ends and opposite the TVs behind the stands, they were empty for 10 minutes. How embarrassing would that be for the club?
I agree, but the good thing about that Sheffield Wednesday one is that I would say 95% of the people did it. I don't think that you will get that amount of people doing that at King Power.
We won't definitely. Yeah, no, you're right. But I'm thinking if we could, that would really show them up. But like you say, you know, you're just missing the first 10 minutes, and let's be honest with you, probably be 2 or 3-0 down by then anyway.
Yeah, and also with the banner comment just there, Scott, unfortunately, mate, I don't think that'll work because if there was a banner at the previous home game and there was a fight and it was ripped down and UFS left because so I don't think banners are the issue. I actually think that there will be more and more protests going forward if things don't change behind the scenes at the club, but. Yeah, it is what it is. But Chris, just on a positive note, can I just mention the marathon? Is that okay?
No, I've written it down here, fundraiser. So
So I am running it's a Rob Burrows Leeds Marathon in May the 10th. It's going to be my first ever marathon, and it's me. Hello. And if you look at the course, 18 miles in, it's a 2.5 mile, 165 elevation gain. So 665 meter, which is a lot. It's a fucking lot. 18 miles in as well is crazy. So I'm doing that on behalf of LAMP, who, if you don't know who LAMP are a Leicestershire and Rutland-based mental health charity. They do a lot of work in the community, and they are there for people that are struggling. I have not dealt with them personally. I have had my own issues with mental health in the past, and I'm in a much better place now. I've always said that at this point, it's a case of every day taking a step back from the edge. I've said previously that I have tried to end it before a number of years ago. And luckily, I'm not in that state anymore. So I take it every day. I wake up and I'm making sure I'm taking steps further and further away from the edge. LAMP are there to be a help. They are there to support people, and they've saved countless lives because of it. What I will say is that is it okay if I post the link in the chat? Is that all right?
Yeah, post the link in the chat.
Perfect.
Also, post it on. I've done it on Twitter, but tag me in it on Twitter again so I can repost it, and also post it in the group as well on Facebook.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I'll do that at some point tonight. But the LAMP, they're a fantastic charity. They are Leicester based, and the people that run it are Leicester fans as well. So if you donate, there is something that I will be doing. I will be writing or printing out and sticking them on the shirt. My running shirt for the goal for the marathon itself will have everybody's name on that has donated, because you shouldn't have to go through mental health struggles alone. And I think having different names on a shirt will push me to make sure I finish it. And let's be honest, doing a marathon sucks, and I don't want to be doing it on my own, but I'm doing it anyway. So yes, please, if you can donate, there's no pressure. You don't have to. It's not like, I know right now that finances are very tight for people around the world because inflation and all that sort of thing. So don't feel like there's any pressure to donate. But if you can, any little helps. And it will go towards saving other people's lives, and the majority of my Leicester fans. So, and we all need it, because let's be honest, Leicester make us depressed as enough as it is. So
this is very true. And there's no, I've been there, seen it, got the T-shirt. I'm on antidepressants at the moment, and the rumours that I've doubled my dosage the last couple of seasons is nothing to do with the football. When is this taking place, sir?
So it's May 10th, up in Leeds. You start at Headingley and then you run around to Otley and stuff, and you come back. And it's the charity. The marathon itself is set up by Rob Burrows, who is no longer with us. He was a very famous rugby league player. He got diagnosed with, unfortunately, I can't remember the name of the actual thing that he had, but he passed away from it. And every year since, there have been people that run the marathon in his name and to find a cure for it. So if you don't support me, go and support the charity itself. But yeah, any donation is great. And what I will say is that I was blown away. I put the donation page up on New Year's Eve, I think it was, something like that. Not expecting to get a significant amount of interest to begin with. My initial goal was £500, and I raised that within 4 hours. It was a significant shock, and I was almost in tears because of it, because it was like, wow, that's, it's such a huge amount of money from people. So
everybody was drunk New Year's Eve.
Yes, that's it. Yes, exactly. So yeah, so I've doubled it to 1,000, and what I have said is that if I get £1,500, I will run the marathon in my Rugkin 14 shirt.
Well, I was going to ask that, because you said about having everybody's name on there. I thought, is he going to do that? I thought for a minute you're going to say you're going to run it naked.
No, God, no. Nobody needs to see that. Not even my wife needs to see that, Chris. I will sign. Either I wear the shirt and I'll sign my shorts, or I'll sign a different shirt, depending on what But I will potentially be running it in my Rugkin 14 shirt, because he's the one that's causes the most pain. So why not?
Does your wife turn off the light at night?
No, we keep it on. I give eye contact, Chris. I'm always staring.
I can't even say asking for a friend, because that sounds worse. Good luck with that, Steve. Like I say, post it to LTID on X, and
training started today as well. So I'm well into the swing of things. My first training block started today, so I'm feeling it.
Brilliant. And let's be honest with you, if I was in Leeds, I'd want to run out of it as well. Happy New Year, mate. Good luck with that. Go over there and get up the links there, guys. Get over there and support Steve. And thanks everybody that's been in the chat. Really do appreciate it. Thanks to the mods as well. Hopefully we'll have a happy New Year. If it's nothing to do with football. But if not, I'll see you. I'll probably do something over the weekend, so I'll probably see you then. All the best, everybody. Have a good evening. Good night.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.